Happy Wednesday, winners. It is our favorite day of the week, and you are now tuned in to another weekly episode of the Ladies in Motion podcast, Talk It Out, where we shine light on women that's winning in the local community. I am your host, Madam Walker, and I'm super excited about today's winning lady. She is a official Georgia Peach, y'all, meaning she is born and raised right here in Atlanta, Georgia. And if you're here, you know that that is not a common thing. Everybody is here from everywhere. But this winning lady, y'all, she is officially here from Atlanta, Georgia herself. She is the founder of Becoming of Her, the number one community for women to thrive and connect with other boss women, what I call women that's winning in the local community. Yeah. She's also a certified and confidence coach, and she has an event coming up next month in June, y'all, that you do not want to miss the opportunity to be a part of. And today we get to shine light on her story, her success, and how she got started. Y'all, I need you to welcome Britney Hester to the show. Make some noise. Britney, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. I do appreciate it. Yeah. So it is episode 120. And y'all, Britney is a true woman that's winning, because for me, a woman that is winning is someone who gives back to her community. And again, Ladies in Motion is all about collaboration and community, not competition. And our guest a few weeks ago, I actually met through Britney before I even met her. Yeah. And she was just such a good supportive friend for this person. She was showing up for them, advocating for them. And she didn't even mention one time about, hey, I got my own business. I should be a part of your podcast. She was strictly there for her homegirl.
I didn't do that.
You didn't say anything. You didn't say anything. It was strictly me at the end, being like, listen, we got to get you too, just so you know.
Right. That's
so
right.
I'm super excited again to just shine light on you, a true, genuine woman that is winning, y'all, and just talk about the journey of becoming who we are right now, because who we are right now is not how we already started. You know what I mean? And we still have a long way to go, right?
Yep, that's a fact.
Right. So thank you. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me once again. I met you a few weeks ago. You had an amazing interview with Shatora, and you invited me back. Thank you for inviting me. I'm happy to be here, ready to talk, ready to let it all out.
Yes, girl.
Let's get to it.
We finna talk it out. Okay, so I am the queen of shout-outs, okay? So I have to ask you before we get started, is there anybody that you'd like to shout out today? Any business partners, entrepreneurs, associates, sponsors, anything like that before we get started?
Yes, I actually want to give a shout out to all the women in my community that have come to my events, have come to my workshops, and you all coming just keeps giving me the energy and the momentum I need to come forward. So thank you to all the ladies that's ever poured into me and supported me. So that's what I want to give a shout out to.
Shout out to y'all women. And that is a very large community, over 1,000 women.
Yes, that's correct.
That's
correct. And we're growing.
Oh my gosh.
And we continue to grow.
That's just such a blessing to hear. When I read on stories like yours, it gives me hope, because I just introduced you as the number one community for women.
That's speaking over me.
Listen, but guess what? I'm speaking over mine. And I always say, Ladies in Motion, the number one community. And just before this, we talk about collabing and just bringing our brands together so we can make that an actual thing. You know what I'm saying?
We was miming before we started, but I can't wait.
Y'all don't even know. So I'm just super excited for people to just get to know you, how you got started in your business. So we're gonna take this back, okay?
Okay.
I mentioned that you were born and raised here in the Atlanta, Georgia area. You are a peach, and that is very rare, because we got people here from everywhere. The Virgin Islands, we got hella Caribbeans, a lot of Floridians, we got a lot of Chicago. I've been meeting so many people from Chicago,
and we are full.
So stay where you at, okay? But I just love to know, yes, you're in this lane now, but I always got to take it back to the beginning, when you first were about to maybe graduate high school, right? That early introductory into adulthood.
Yes.
What was it that you saw yourself doing? You know, what was your plan? What did you see yourself going to college? Did you always see yourself in this entrepreneurship lane? I'm just curious to know what that was like for you at the very beginning.
Yeah, so my mom has always instilled on me the importance of a college education. So that is something that I originally have always wanted to do. So going to college was something that was like a non-negotiable, you know, for me. I will say that I started to even have the dream of being an entrepreneur like at a very young age. I started like at 18 years old. I had like a hair business that I did, and I had took a break from college. I had went to my hometown, and I had started selling hair bundles. Yeah, girl, we was getting them things straight from AliExpress.
Okay,
but they were selling. I designed my own Wix website on my own. At the time, I was in my hometown, just taking a break from life in Atlanta and college. My mom actually was supporting me. She helped, you know, gave me money for the bundles and all that. And at the time, I was actually working at Zaxby's while I was taking a break from college, while I was selling hair. And I stopped doing that when I came back to Atlanta to continue to pursue my education. But I would say that I always see the values of both entrepreneur and also like the traditional route of going to college as well.
That's what's up. And see, a lot of people don't talk about it, but like even right now, I have people like, "Why you want to go to college?" It's like, listen, it's benefits in it just from networking and just being, I guess, masterful in your field. You know what I'm saying?
That's right.
So I appreciate that from you as well.
Yeah.
And so you said that you were selling bundles.
Yes, I was.
Yeah, I love that. And you was in school balancing that. Yeah. Did you ever see anyone, you know, balancing entrepreneurship around you, or was that you were the first one? So you didn't really have any guidance.
I was the first one, and you have to think like at that time. Unlike now, there are so many reference points to entrepreneur. We have all the podcasts, we have the creators, and we have all the courses. But we're talking about roughly like 2013 here. I was like 20, 21, 20 at the time. So I was just straight like hustle, trying to figure it out on my own. There was no guide. There was no nothing. I'm like, I know the website. I see other people, you know, selling bundles, how they're pricing it. So that's what I was using like as my reference point. But no, it was no one around me. I don't come from a family where there's entrepreneurs in my family. No.
So after selling bundles, like what would you say was the next like entryway to entrepreneurship for you? Because I know you're a confidence coach now and you have this community, but I'm just curious to see, because obviously for me, just observing you, this community and the confidence coach, that's your lane, that's where you are at now.
Right, that's where I landed. Yeah.
But I always say this on every single show, that God leaves us nuggets along the way of our journey that's, you know, like, you know what, I was actually always involved in empowering people or leadership, you know what I mean? So is there something else that you maybe kind of always seen yourself involved in, or is there another lane that you may have tried before you even got in the lane that you're in now? I'm curious to hear.
There was. Okay, so I have had my hand at drop shipping. I've had my hand at cleaning business and all of that, right? So for me, and I preach this, is I take action. And it is nothing that you will regret more than sleeping on your own dreams and saying like, hey, I wish I would have done a certain kind of thing. So I'm the type of person where if it's in my will, I will try it at least one time. So just trying to figure things out, and not everything land, but I always kind of be like a risk taker to at least try to give it a shot on my own. So I would say probably back in 2019, I tried to drop shipping. That wasn't for me, girl. it wasn't that wasn't for me. But in the midst of doing the drop shipping, I was a lot in the community space that they had in the Facebook group, kind of like encouraging the women like to not give up on your business, even though I had kind of give up on mine, but they seemed a little more passionate. So I would say even in that space, I was more so still engaging with
Mhm.
the people in the group and talking to them about what was working for me and what was not, and just telling people, hey, go ahead and try to push your own thing. And then I tried the cleaning business, which actually started to make money, but it just wasn't me.
So
It wasn't me.
Sometimes I find that's like, if you don't have the passion or whatever for something,
Yeah.
it's hard for me to just like keep going and being consistent in that thing because
it's a lot of brain power. It's a lot of strategy into trying to grow a business. And if it's something that I'm not quite passionate about, I have seen with myself, I kind of head out.
Okay.
I kind of find something else.
I'm out of here.
I find something else to do. But the cleaning business, it was boring, but boring is okay because it was making money.
Right.
You didn't have to be online, which is fine. But in my heart, I know that wasn't where I was gonna fully becoming my potential and be who I need to be in that space.
So I do want to ask you just about what did you end up going to school for and where did you go?
Yeah, psychology, Georgia State.
Okay.
Yes.
And what was what made you go the psychology route? And do you still find yourself like kind of in that role, even though you're not always a psychologist or a mental health therapist? Do you still find yourself kind of still in that lane because psychology? It's just helping people at the end of the day. You get what I'm saying? So I want to know, just about your journey, just entering college, because I also have a very broad platform.
Okay.
I have people that I shout out to London King and shout out to Alyssa King. Oh my gosh, Kings. Okay. I didn't even think about that. But London King just had them marketing and mimosas and business event that just took place in Atlanta. I was a volunteer at that event. Over 400 people showed up to this event and it was amazing, And then I seen in that room somebody from my hometown, Polk County, Florida, make some noise. Okay. All right now. She was there. Thank you, girl. Making some noise. All the way here in Atlanta, Georgia. Okay. Yes. Yep. And she was there as well. So it's just like a blessing to see her. But I have a very broad platform from people who have already graduated college. But I said that to say that I coached Alyssa praise dancing in the church. I watched her grow up, But now it's like when you watch people grow up, and here we are as adults, like they're closer in age than I thought.
Right.
Really, she's right around the corner from me, but I was like a coach to her. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But her, I seen Christy. I ran into Tarika Coney. Shout out to these women that's winning from Polk County, Florida. It was so, I'm telling you, so good. But just what made you, because I have a lot of high school students who I've coached, middle school people who I've coached that are watching this that may be going to college. Yeah. Like, what was it that made you choose your major? Yeah. If you could go back, would you decide another major, given your experience and everything else? Let's just talk about that, because I find that, when we go into college, a lot of people, you hear so many different things about college. Like, don't waste your time. Or, don't go for this, go for that, or just whatever the case. So I just want to hear your journey, when it comes to college. You know what I mean? Deciding what career path you would take.
I think that quite naturally, a lot of people look at the potential money that you can get from a career, right?
That's what we're looking at.
And I do know that there are like assessments that you can take if you are in college to kind of figure out what type of role or what you want to do for the future. But to me, psychology, the study and the discipline of the mind and the behaviors has always been an interest to me. For one, because our mind is the most powerful asset that we have.
It is.
It's the most powerful thing that can delay you or keep you moving forward to where you need to be. And there's a lot of people who have just completely lost the capacity to manage their mind, whether it's their mental health has shut down, haven't been able to recover from trauma, but your mind is like one of the most powerful things. And I truly believe that's where transformation starts in your mind. So it's always been an interest of mine. And I don't find it funny how, although I'm not a psychologist, that I am still now landing in the space where
Mm-hmm.
I am encouraging women to change their story, but it starts in their mind.
I'm telling you,
Yeah.
you know, you if you go with this, everything else will follow. But it definitely starts,
Yeah.
you know, with the transformation of the mind and the way that you think.
Yes,
You know
it
what I
is.
mean?
Yeah.
So that's cool to hear you say
Yeah.
that.
Mhm.
So you went to college, and after college, is there, you know, like what did you see yourself doing then? Because you went to school for this psychology
Yes.
degree, you know,
Yeah.
and right now, do you work a full time job? I didn't even ask this before.
I do, and I'm actually in the tech field.
Okay.
Honestly, that's where I have landed. I'm in tech. I don't do anything extraordinary there, but it's been a stable career. I've been with my company for 6 years.
Yeah.
And I would say after college, I was figuring things out.
Mm-hmm.
I was figuring things out like as a young woman, just trying to figure out what do I want to do.
Mm-hmm.
So I was in banking. At one point, I did makeup. I was on sets doing makeup. Working,
Really?
yeah,
Okay.
working at Sephora. One time I worked at Saks, but I was just testing out different things, just trying to figure out where I want to go.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. I would say that honestly, I didn't have a set plan on where I wanted to go,
Mm-hmm.
but I think that a delay is never a denial,
Mm-hmm.
and that God will put you back on the path that's meant for you and what He has aligned for you and what's purpose for you. So I did stray away, got into things that I was never supposed to get into,
Mm-hmm.
but God pushed me right back where I needed to be. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, yeah.
That's what's up.
Mhm.
So, okay. So I have a million things going through my mind.
Yes.
Okay. So you go through college, you graduate, you find yourself in this lane, but you are a certified confidence coach.
Yes.
So I just want to ask you, like, is that something that you grew into? Or is that something that you always kind of had? Like, hey, I am actually, no matter what life actually threw my way, I've always actually been a very confident person. Or is that something that, like, actually, or is that something that, as life has happened, I've actually had to grow to learn to be this confident person?
Right.
I'm just curious to know how that went for you, because sometimes, even with purpose, I feel like sometimes we have to encounter pain, and then that pain is what pushes us to our purpose. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So I'm curious to know, like, how that went for you. Would you share that?
Oh, absolutely. So I would say that it's always been in me, but I lost it along my journey of trying to figure out what I wanted to do in my life. So quite often when we align ourselves with things that are not meant for us, it can kind of diminish and take away some things that just naturally that you have in you. And you find yourself trying to find those things again. So for me, my turning point was in COVID. That was the first time where I had the opportunity to just sit still. So prior to that, I'm working, I'm in this new, industry, this new job, just working a lot, just trying to feel like I have to catch up, because at that time I'm still trying to figure out what I want. So I'm like, okay, I'm finally in this career and just getting all the things in line in order. But what I have noticed is that there will always be symptoms where it will show you what you have been neglecting and what you have not been taking care of. So for me, what that looked like was I had got almost up to 300 pounds. I weighed 278 pounds in 2020. And COVID caused me to sit down and become aware of my physical image. Not only that, but what had led me up until that point. So a lot of healing had to take place, and I started my fitness journey, which really became the pivotal moment of me transforming into like a new woman. So as I went into my fitness journey, and I dedicated like a whole year of just working out, didn't do anything, work out and go to work. That was pretty much my life. I did end up losing 50 pounds in the process, and I did that just all out the mud. Thank you. But it is something about when you start to demand your body, your mind shifts as well. So in the midst of gaining back my body and my image and unpacking the trauma, that's where the confidence started to bloom and come back in. But it's always been in me.
Yeah.
You know, it's always been there. But that was the pivotal moment, I would say.
I just love the word demand.
Yeah.
You know, I do. Like, that's when I demanded this. You know what I mean? Ain't no more being playing small.
No.
You know, ain't no more tiptoeing into the situation.
No.
You know, I'm demanding the attention in the room. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm demanding this space that I'm in.
Yeah.
Because, you know, I work hard to be in this space.
Yeah.
You know, I tell everybody, it's like, you've been through too much. You know, and I don't even know everything you've been through, but me knowing life and the way that it works.
And okay.
We've been through too much.
You've been
to now not be in a space where we're walking boldly in our purpose and demanding, you know, the space that we're in.
It is. It's a demand, and it's a true choice.
It is a choice.
It's a true choice, and I think that quite often people waver between the choice factor and just allowing life to happen to you. So there are moments in your life where you're going to have to do what's totally uncomfortable. You're going to have to go through things that may seem painful a long times, but as long as you know where you are going, it's going to work out for you on the end. So you just have to have the vision for yourself and go out of it. And that's how confidence is born. You know, it's not about, oh, I can just go into a room and demand it, or, you know, I'm that girl. No, confidence is about you believing in your potential, and you've shown that to yourself. You believe in it.
Yeah.
So life will continue to happen, and what I keep learning as I'm getting older, we kind of go through the same things, but having the confidence to respond to the thing and to have the faith to understand that I'm going to get through this.
Yes, no matter what.
That's confidence.
That is confidence.
That's confidence.
It is.
Yeah.
So I want to ask you, like, just even before, you know, how long have you been, number one, a certified confidence coach?
Yeah.
Okay. And then I just have to ask, like, did you go through something particularly in your life that pivoted you to that point? You know what I mean? That made you have to walk in that self-assurance and that self-confidence era?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm curious to know that. If you know, did you go through something that made you have to walk in that way? Because again, before you become a confidence coach, you have to go through a journey.
Yeah,
that's just how I feel. Like it's not like I'm walking in this journey and I feel good. I feel like you have to walk in that journey for a while to be like, you know what? I actually feel like I'm mastering this.
Yeah.
Let me help others, you know, before you can help each other. Exactly. So I've actually heard my whole life too. When you know that you've truly mastered something, when you can teach it.
When you can teach it.
When you can teach it. I had a teacher tell me that.
That's right.
At middle school, Union Academy, shout out to UA, okay, in Bartow, Florida. But that's what I used to have a teacher that used to tell us all the time. You know, you truly mastered something when you can teach
when
it.
You can go on and
you know what I mean? So I'm curious to know, like, how that go for you. Was there something significant that you went through in your life that made you say, oh no, I need to shift my mindset and start walking like this? You know what I mean? And with that, you know, I'm just curious to know how that unfolded for you with the whole confidence thing. Anyways, even getting to the point where you can teach someone else, that obviously mean that you've mastered it. So
So I officially became a confidence coach in 2022.
Okay.
And what led me to that point, for one, when I realized how much weight I had gained.
Okay.
Right? Because there were other things in my life that I had let go of. But I didn't realize it until I started unpacking the trauma. So, for instance, the career that I was in was cute. But is that really a passion of mine? I had let go of my passion. I had let go, and I had settled into just being okay. I had settled into walking the fine line of the bare minimum, and that's scary. And that bare minimum attitude showed up physically in how much weight I had gained. That's why I'm saying there's always some type of symptoms. They can be physical and sometimes the spiritual, but the physical ones is the more evident ones that we see. But I had literally just stopped showing up in areas of my life. And I had to make a choice. I was depressed. I was super depressed. In COVID 2020, I was so sad. It was hard times. I was alone, trying to figure things out. Like, if the world ended, like what is going on?
Yeah.
You know, but I was spaced to sit with myself alone. And I'm like, you know, I'm not really happy. I'm not happy. And I have to now make a choice. Well, what is that going to look like for you? So the number one thing I started with was, I knew, let me just start to exercise. That's the first thing I started to do. But in the midst of me keep going up to the gym, keep showing up, it started for me to look at other aspects in my life where I needed to show up as well. So if you ever realize, like, when women go through a weight loss journey, it's like, it seems like their whole energy change.
I'm telling you.
Have you ever like noticed that?
I
Like,
have.
especially when they lose like traumatic, like a huge weight loss, is that their whole spirit changes. It's because they start to put that same energy in other aspects of their lives. So that's what I did. I started back exploring. That's when I'm like, okay, well, what about the cleaning business? That was all around this time in 2020. You know, a little bit of 2021, trying to figure it out. What am I going to do? So I started showing back up for myself again. And I would say just the whole journey of, now I feel like I'm ready to become a coach. It's because I started redesigning my life. So I lost the weight. Then afterwards, you know, I was testing out different things. It didn't work out for me. But me and one of my homegirls said, let's start a podcast. She's an entrepreneur. And I'm like, okay, I'm in this entrepreneur space. Like, let's share our journey as two single women, just on a journey of becoming her. So it started off as me doing a podcast now. Just trying to testing out different things, kept showing up for the podcast. And while I was on the podcast, although it didn't get all super successful like I wanted it to, but it allowed me to understand the value and the power of my story. And I started to know what my story is, and I started to see how it could impact others. Because the clips that we were sharing online, we would get a lot of feedback from it. So women saying like, hey, you know, this helped me in this way, or I never thought about it in that way. So that was just confirmation for me that, hey, what I'm saying is resonating with certain people. But it was just literally about me making a choice to redesign my life. I don't like it. I didn't like it. And that's not a good place to live as a woman. We have divine feminine traits, baby, that we can go out. We are literally designed to create life. How do you not think that you can go out and create the life that you want? Why keep settling? If you're not happy doing what you want to do, tap back into that energy. And that's what it was. Tapping back into that energy.
You gotta tap back into that energy. You know what I'm saying? And you know, something that you just said, I was just telling my mom, because I don't know where I even heard this from, but I heard someone say like, you know, being a woman is so powerful. You know what I mean? And they talked about how they were talking about like the generations, how your mom carried you and your future children. Like, when you think about it like that,
it's so deep.
I'm telling you, for some reason,
it stuck with you.
Hearing that stuck with me, man. Like, knowing my grandma carried my mom, my brother. Shout out to my brother. Okay, the number one balloon artist in Polk County, Florida. Make some noise. Okay. But he just had a baby today. And to know that baby girl was carried by my grandmother. Because my grandmother carried my mother, who carried my brother, who carried my niece, who was born today. You know what I mean? Oh. Like, when you think about it like that,
that's when you think about it.
It's like, man, this stuff is deep. You know what I mean? It really, really is.
It is. So we have too many women that have forgotten about their power. and or their power is being used in so many other aspects of their lives where they have settled on doing what they want to do versus what do you want to do? You're doing what you have to do,
right?
But what do you want to do?
What do you want to do?
So that's what becoming of her is. That is my whole brand. It's about changing your story to her story, which means healed, elevated, and refined.
Oh, I love that.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And so we're gonna get right into it.
Okay.
Because this is kind of what this platform was created for. Number one, this entrepreneurship journey is not easy.
No.
Nobody ain't telling you that on social media. It's like, start the LLC, do this, do that. No. This is hard because now after I started the LLC, I need a website. I gotta trademark my business. I gotta file for the taxes at the end of the year when the renewal come up. If not, I'm gonna be penalized.
We have to identify what's the money makers.
I'm telling you.
There's a lot of strategy.
So, and nobody talks about that part. You know what I mean? So this kind of community was kind of community to just let people know, hey, I see you out there. And I'm out here too. And it's not easy, but if I can do it, you can do it. That's kind of why this space was created. So I'm just really, I want you to go into detail about the becoming of her community. Over 1,000 women.
Yes.
Okay, how did that even just get started? You say you started with this podcast to create the safe place. But just tell me about becoming of her and this upcoming event you have coming up. I'm just curious to know how things are going for you, man.
Yeah, so becoming of her started because once I pivoted from doing podcasting and then I went into the space of interviewing other entrepreneurs in spaces, and they were in the empowerment space and they were having events and things for women, and I was just like, why can't I do this as well? And I was really nervous about stepping into that space and, just being around a lot of different women and just how I would be received. But it was just something that God told me to do. Go for it. Go for it. And when I did, it grew really, really fast. I started in October of 2023. Okay. And at the time, I was doing an event every single week. Leading up to the end of the month in 2023. So I did roughly 11 events in a 3-month period. Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
11 events in a 3-month period.
Yes, in a 3-month period. So some of them range from, just us going to have dinner. Some of the things were workshops that I did. But I wanted to just move very aggressively and get it done. 2024, going into 2024, I was like, I want my community to be formed by then. So I went really hard at the end of 2023. And it has been so amazing and such a blessing to get to know the women in Atlanta in a very intimate space. And it has caused me to have so much insight on some of the things that women are dealing with and how we are all different, but we share some of the same similarities as well. And I have just been very blessed to just been given the gift to be able for women to trust me, just to facilitate this type of space, and just to know that their energy is protected when they're around me. It's no weird vibes. It's nothing, you won't ever hear anything bad that you tell me. It's a very sacred space for the women that do come out.
And that's a blessing to know. Even, I mentioned I was at this event on Sunday, and just to be accepted by the people in the room. Of course, I ran into people that I knew from Polk County.
She loves Polk County.
Listen, I love Polk County. Nobody can tell me nothing, okay, about my hometown. Because people be asleep, but the reason why I feel like nobody can tell me nothing, because people like me, in the most humblest way, come from Polk County, and I'm a woman that's winning, period. Okay? And I know several women that's winning, men that's winning that come from Polk County. So nobody can tell me nothing about where I'm from, because I know some boss people from there.
Okay.
You get what I'm
So
saying?
she like, I'm representing.
One of the first confidence coaches that I know is Tia Crockett. Shout out to my girl Tia from Polk County.
Okay.
Confidence coach, bold, beautiful woman that's winning, walking in her purpose. And her and her husband are building a community. Yeah. And her children are also just the most amazing little children that also though are bold. They know who they are because they're watching a woman in their life though. You know, I love that. So I love Polk County. Nobody can tell me nothing. You know, so for me, I'm a product of my environment. The good, the bad, yes, but I'm a product of my environment, and it's good stuff that you see
from Polk County.
Period.
Girl, you made me want to go to Polk County.
And I love to hear it because I done met people before. They're like, man, I'm trying to go to Polk County. Shout out to my girl Kayla. I used to work with a girl named Kayla. She's like, man, I want to go to Polk. You made me want to go to Polk. Yeah. And you should because it is women like this. Again, this platform was started because it's like, you know what? Dang, we got so much great people here in Polk County that actually don't even know because we're such a small town. Mm-hmm. So people just don't know. Yeah. You get what I'm saying? But it truly, you know, it's women in Polk County that are thriving.
Who are doing their thing.
That are doing their shout
out to the girls in Polk County. I want to go.
Okay, you should.
Next time you go, let me know.
Let me tell you something. It's some great things coming up. The end of the year, second half of the year, always good. Yeah. And I will let you know we're gonna make some things happen. Okay. All right, cool. So, just to proceed with this, I love this just to hear this story about you and your journey to becoming a confidence coach. Mm-hmm. I want to know what it's like for relationships with you, if you don't mind. The reason why I ask is because I used to date a person that used to say, he's so cocky. He's so cocky, Walt. And I was like, no, I'm not cocky. At this point in my life, though, I'm just confident. Yeah. I know who I am. I know whose I am. I know what I'm not putting up with. And I know the God that I serve. You know, so I'm just curious to know, like, you in a relationship space. Yeah. How does it come with you when it comes to building friendships and intimate relationships and everything with you being like a confident person, though? You know, I'm curious to know how that journey is for you.
So with I have amazing girlfriends. Okay. I'm truly inspired by each one of all of my friends. I feel like if you are a confident woman, you tend to attract other confident women. Right. So all my friends are go-getters in whatever space, you know, that they're in. So I tend to attract those type of people. You know, in relationship space, in an intimate space, I would be honest, just like any woman, I have issues. Because men are gonna men.
say that one more time. I just gotta hear that. I've never heard anyone say it. Men are going to men. They are going to men. You're right.
They are going to men. So there is always opportunity for improvement. I would never sit up here and act like I am perfect. No, that's why I have mentors. That's why I have a therapist as well. Yeah, hello. I'm not perfect. However, I will say this is that being a confident woman, baby, it's a lot of things that you will not be able to do with me. Mm-hmm. I will say that. Mm-hmm. So strict on certain things. But like any woman, we give grace, we love, you know, we do all those things. Mm-hmm. But I think that as long as you remember who you are, I never lose myself in relationships. Mm-hmm. You know, I keep whatever is keeping me happy. And keeping me fulfilled, I do that. I feel like that's linked to your confidence is making sure whatever's fulfilling your cup, you continue to do. Mm-hmm. Don't put all your confidence into the validation of whoever you're with.
And did you have to get to that point, or have you lost yourself in relationships before, though?
Oh, yeah, I have. Just like any woman, of course.
Okay, cool. Because, you know, we do just go through it.
Yeah, we go through that. I have definitely overstayed, you know? Right. And the cost started to be too high. So that's what happens when you overstay situations and you have to work yourself out of that and do your due process of healing and getting yourself back again. But, of course, I've been through that.
Mm-hmm. Being a person that is like a Georgia peach, a true Georgia peach. Yes. Like, do you find this journey being easy for you? Like, you know, me being a person that's not from here, it's like, okay, I'm not from here. And what I'm realizing is a lot of people are not from here. Even the young lady, my girl Jalen, who hosted this event today, she's not from here.
Not from here. Okay.
You know what I mean? So, but I just always am so curious from people who are from here.
Just navigating the space.
Just navigating the space.
The
you know
industry, like the business part of it.
Yeah, like is it hard for you to get into even though you're from here, or is it like you still gotta put in just as much work as a person who is not from here? Like I'm just curious to know what that looks like for you. You know what I mean?
No, I would say that you have to always be optimistic.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that wherever you are, there's room for you to create, because you're only one you.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
right?
So I never get tired of all the possibilities of things that I can do, or the things that the people I can meet, or the spaces that I can feel. You know, venues that I haven't been to yet, or so I always try to find the creation and the creativity into wherever I am at. Mm-hmm. And then a lot of times, if people find that they are losing creativity in whatever industry they're in because they feel like they know this city or whatever, sometimes you may just have to ask God to increase your faith more, to increase your vision more as well. So, yeah, I think it's fun. I love being here in Atlanta. I feel like it actually works for me that I know the city so well.
But that's a blessing. Yeah, that's good to know.
Yeah, that I know the city.
Do you see yourself going anywhere else? Do you think about it? Like, you know, I'm scared to know.
I have so many aspirations and dreams.
Because let me tell you.
What?
Listen,
Cali.
I'm born and raised in Florida, and sometimes I'm like, man, I need to go back to Florida because that's just where my resources at. But when I really truly think about it, I can't even do it.
Yeah.
Because it's so good here. It's just I'm getting energy from here. And so sometimes even, you know, I tell people from home sometimes, I'm like, man, I don't think people that's from here realize what they got. You know what I mean?
Yeah, Atlanta is a special place.
It's a special place. It really is. Mm-hmm.
I think that I do have dreams of going other places. I actually met a woman back in 2023. She's from the UK, but she literally does events like all over the US. Mm-hmm. You know, LA, New York, Atlanta. And I think that I love a little challenge. I love a challenge to figure out, can I bring Atlanta to New York City? Right. You know, can I bring Atlanta to London? Mm-hmm. So of course. Mm-hmm. And I think that you know, you don't have to go there and just set up your whole business there. You can just bring an idea there and just do that and go back home. Mm-hmm. You know, so yeah, of course. I think it's just different markets. Like that's a part of business, is that the Atlanta market and demographics here might not be the same somewhere else. It may work for you somewhere else because nobody is doing it. Right. A lot of people are doing similar things here. Right. So what if you take your idea where they're not doing it as much there? Mm-hmm. You know, so look, expand the vision. Don't just, you know, limit it to where you currently are. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Settle for the bare minimum. No, like baby, make it big. Make it big. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I definitely do just want to ask you about your upcoming event in June. Yes. Like, tell me about it. When it is, the name of this event, is this your first year? You know, I'm just curious to know how this goes. I'm super excited for you.
Thank you. Yeah, so I have started something new in my business, but this is going to be a new series related to everything love and relationships. So the name of this new community is called Redefining Love and also Your Style. Mm-hmm. So the name of this event is how to be ready for your dream partner. And what we're going to be talking about in that particular workshop is going to be online, and it's June 12th. It starts at 7 p.m. Okay. But what we're going to be talking about is unpacking some of the things that will prevent you from being ready for your dream partner. Mm-hmm. So it is going to be using my aligned method of coaching that I like to use. Okay. So we're going to be looking at just being aware of certain things, things that we need to let go, interconnections that we may need to form, the growth that we may need, and then the new story that we can tell ourselves about love. But it's going to be just a different love series. It has just been on my heart, and God has given it to me this year. I've been studying so much about love, and that has been impacting me personally in my life. But I know it's also to share it with others. Yeah. So I have realized through my community group with women is that A lot of our heart postures, some women heart postures just not in the right space. So I believe that when we start to heal our heart, that it'll allow us to show up in different places that needs us, you know. So we're working on that. That's what we're working on. That's going to be like one of my main focuses for the community. And then along in that, you know, I'm going to also be just showing women how they can level up their look. You know, for the new woman who you are becoming, that's going to be a new service that I'm going to be offering in my business. Is as you are becoming her, your style has to also match as well. So what we used to wear, girl, it ain't who for the new woman that you're becoming.
That's
so,
real,
yeah.
girl.
So those are some of the things that I'm going to be offering in my business as well, which I'm so excited for. So
I love that for you. Is there anything, you know, before we wrap this up and you know, give everyone the opportunity to follow and connect with you, you know, but is there anything else that you just want to share with people that are walking in business or not, just becoming, you know what I mean? Becoming, again, before we wrap this up, just even go into that. How did that sisterhood come apart? How did you even start that community? You know what I mean? How did that even come apart before you decided to have this community over 1,000 women? Where did that even come from?
I mean, I think about when I was depressed, you know, during COVID time, and I was alone. That if I could have had someone to reach out to, and my friends don't beat me up, but sometimes you may not want to share all of those intimate things with some of your girlfriends.
Right.
And certain times, if you create a community group with women that are having similar issues, it's easier for you all to connect with and lean on. So the community group just really comes out of something that I know that could have benefited me when I was going through different things. And then as well, the whole community group is about women going from being overworked, and these are women who are professional women or women in demanding roles, to going into a life of overflow. So we're going to different dinners, you know, doing different activities, having different workshops. But the whole goal of it is that once you leave here, I want you to feel fulfilled in a way where now you can go back home and do what you need to take care of. So that's what the becoming of her community is about. So we are transforming like our minds, and then in hopes that this will tap into other things that you need to do in yourself as well. So
okay, and June 12th, you have this event. Just one last time before we wrap this thing up, give us the last few details. The name of the event, June 12th, the time, the location, and just, you know, what are you looking forward to the most from your event coming up June 12th? What are you looking forward to the most?
So once again, the event is called How to Be Ready for Your Dream Partner.
I love that, by the way.
Thank you. It starts at 7 p.m. It is online event, 7 to 9 p.m. Okay. And what I'm looking for the most is to hear what the women are currently telling themselves about their love story. Yeah. Because those thoughts, once again, your thoughts can shape so much of how you move in your life. So I'm ready to hear what they are currently saying, but then after the workshop, I want to hear what is going to be your new story. That's what I want to hear about love. So I am hoping that we get to that point where when they leave, even if it's just one woman, but she go out just feeling lighter, just about love in her life. So yeah. Right. That's what I'm looking for.
I'm so excited for this event.
Thank you.
The 12th, June 12th. Is that a Wednesday or Thursday?
That is a Thursday.
It is a Thursday. Well, that's great.
Yeah.
That's good for me.
Thursday. Okay.
All right. So, I mean, I can participate on Thursday, so that makes me happy.
Yes.
To just know. So where can we stay connected with you? You know, if someone wanted to book your service, they feel like, hey, I need someone to coach me through this whole thing, give me the confidence I need to carry through. You know, how can they contact you and stay connected with you? And in booking you, what can they get out of the services that you offer as well? Tell us all now.
Yes. Okay. So you can find me on Instagram. I am Britney H. And my website is called www.becomingofherbrand.com. So booking with me, what you're gonna get is the reignition that you need within yourself. I am not an expert to say that I'm going to know how to solve all of your problems, but what I can do is give you a roadmap, and I can give you the resources. I can get you to a point where we can figure out and define exactly what the issues are that you are currently having, and we can determine what it is where you want to go, and how we can shape out that roadmap for you. So whether that is in business, if you want to expand your brand and have a different style and look, or you're looking for a woman that, maybe you want to change up and elevate your look, or you're just a woman coming fresh out of a breakup, and you need to just step into a different energy. So I believe that the power of agreement is really powerful. You can tell yourself one thing, but if you have somebody there reinforcing it, I feel like we can move faster towards it together. So
I love that. Thank you so much, Brittany, for just, coming on the show and just, again, being a woman of your word. Again, y'all, I met Brittany through one of her clients.
Yeah.
And she didn't even mention one time what she does. I had to do the research. And then when I met her in person, I'm like, don't you do? Like, you got your own thing going too, though, right?
I gotta look some.
Yeah. And she was just so humble about it. And I just, again, that to me, that shows exactly who you are as a confidence coach, and that person booked you as their confidence coach. You got them booked on this podcast to put themselves out there because that person knows what they're doing.
Yeah,
they're a professional in their field. She's a powerhouse, truly. And I did my research on her. She's been featured as a mompreneur a few times. Just super boss women that are winning right here amongst us, y'all. So again, if you are watching this and whatever Brittany said resonated with you, please do not hesitate to reach out. This is what this platform is for. This is her purpose. God put her on earth for a person just like you. You know what I mean? So please just make sure you're following Ladies in Motion on all platforms. This episode will be available on Apple, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. Okay, and just stay tuned. I want to shout out to Safe Healing LLC and Royal Kashat Hair Company. They're having a back to school giveaway, and it's gonna be so good, y'all. It's coming in June, right here in the Atlanta South Side area. Okay, and these are just, again, people who are passionate about their business. Because to me, a real woman that's winning and a man that's winning, they're not only about their business and their paper. Because we about that.
Okay.
Yeah, you feel me? But we are also giving back to our community. You know what I mean? And that's what's important. You know what I mean? They're having this back to school giveaway. So if you're interested in being a sponsor, a volunteer, anything of that nature, just please reach out. We're out here. We're trying to just, push the culture forward. And I'm just grateful to be amongst women like Britney who are not afraid. Okay, slide up in your DM. Hey girl, we aligned. Let's make this work. Sorry, appreciate it. So any last words before we wrap this thing up? Because we're getting ready to wrap this thing up.
Yes, just understand the power in your story. You always have the ability to change anything that you currently feel like is not in line with you. So do not settle on things that deep down, God is saying this is not for you. So let's change our story. It's power in your story.
Oh my gosh, that was so good. Now I don't want to end just like that, But again, just to piggyback, guys, let's change our story. We're the author of our story. You know what I mean? God is the illustrator. So if we're writing this, let's write the vision, make it plain. That's what the words say.
Hello.
You do that? I don't want to preach too much, but I'm just saying, once we do that, everything else truly does fall into place. And it would just begin to make sense, and I just want this for everybody. I truly do.
Living life.
So make sure you follow me again, Ladies in Motion, on all platforms. That's ladiesinmotion.llc. On Facebook, we are just Ladies in Motion. And then on Instagram, you can also follow talkitout.lim on all platforms, y'all. Apple, Spotify, iHeartRadio. Talk It Out by Ladies in Motion. And I'll see you again here next week with another woman that's winning in the local community. Okay, y'all? So bye. Until next time. Bye.